It's time to finish the game. Let's go.
Ball first and 10 at the 12-yard line of the Seahawks. Sean goes right, has a cutback lane, and he does. He's across the 20, the 25, 30, 35, 40. Here he goes. Are they going to catch him? 40, 35, 30, 25, 10, 5. Touchdown, Seahawks. What a run by Sean Alexander.
Finish the game. We're going to finish the game. Yeah.
You hear the music? It is on. This is Finish the Game. What's happening, everybody? I'm Sean Alexander. I'm with my main man, the right-hand man with the plan, producer extraordinaire, Claude Jennings.
Yes, sir. I hear the music. You know, my son sings the song all the time. He loves the Finish the Game hook, man. So.
Yeah, you know what is really funny? There's been some adults that have honestly said, Sean, you've got me saying finish the game all throughout work and play, and you know, they going on their little dates with their husbands. Hey, you know, I've got him talking about finish the game. I'm like, I know he likes that.
No, absolutely.
So it's good. Everybody, welcome back to the show. I've been traveling so much this month, and it's been great. And I just want to tell you all, thank you all for the love of listening to this show. Thank you for just having a good time with me. We're going to keep this thing rolling. We love what Finish the Game is all about, helping you finish the game of life, helping you men become great leaders and fathers, and everybody just changing the world that's around you right now. You know, I've got a little special message. I'm getting my Instagram game up, Claude.
Right.
You
okay.
know?
Yeah.
And so
if folks want to follow you on Instagram, they can do what?
Yeah, they go to Finish the Game 37. You know, at Finish the Game 37. That's how you can follow me on Instagram. And I've been checking messages. You can get on Twitter, which is at Sean Alexander. That's simple.
Pretty easy.
That's pretty easy. But I've been checking. I've been getting my social media game up, and I've been checking it. And I got a message from Insta Jordan 38. He lives up in Michigan, and he said, "Hey, he said, Sean, I was thinking about myself and thinking about music, and it would be a great topic or conversation for your podcast. I see so many young people." Younger than me or even my age, they fall victim to negative influence of derogatory music. And when you listen to positive, uplifting music, it really has an uplifting feel about it and really makes you want to keep grinding for those goals, those big goals. He said, man, I just want to hear a thought about how you feel about music and grinding on some goals and how music can shift you. Insta Jordan 38, you know what? That's real talk. You know, we can't deny that music influences you. And, you know, I tell you, just last weekend, I was coming home from the events I was at, and I'll tell you about the event that I was at here in a little bit. But I came home and saw the family, and I know the babies were all getting in bed, and I checked on the Instagram, and they was talking about the BET Awards. You know what I'm saying, Claude?
Right. Yeah.
And so they had this big tribute to Prince. And people that know me would know, like, back in the day before I really, really figured out, like, you know, what kind of music's going to really line me up with Jesus and what kind of music's going to really put my heart and my mind on the right things. I was into some Prince, you know,
right,
you know,
right.
and it was amazing how, even though I haven't listened to a song by Prince or even anything that goes towards that Prince era in years, I mean, maybe a decade.
Right.
You know, gosh, I had to go back to when I was playing in Seattle before I could even remember hearing that even in a locker room. You know,
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but I remember the song so clearly, and I remember going back into high school or even back to when my older brothers, you know, I got 4 older brothers, you know, shout out bros. But when they was jamming to Prince and, you know, and how that made me feel and the kind of I remember just even like when I was listening to that for a hot second, it flashed me back there.
It took you back.
I said, hold on a second. Hold on. Put that shoulder back in, Sean. Put that shoulder back in. You know, but music influences. And and I tell my kids all the time, you know, you got to learn how to guard your heart.
Right.
And so for me, like, because I know the influence of music, I'm guarding my heart from the things that would take me to places I don't want to go.
Right.
And you know what? And sometimes you look up and there's great songs and great musicians that do some great things, but at the end of the day, they can sway you off of the path of what you really want to be about and where you really want to go.
Yeah, no, that's so important to say. And I mean, I think it's also important to point out that it's really the message that influences us that you're talking about here, because I mean, music is just the art form.
Yeah.
Music is just a platform or a mode to communicate a message. I mean, so you can take music and substitute that with a television show, with a movie or whatever.
Yep.
And if the message or the influence that it is having on you is gearing you away towards the end goal or wherever you're trying to get to, it's probably not best for you to listen to that or to consume it, because it's all about what you feed yourself. And you can talk about this, Sean, because, I mean, you're a world-class athlete. You play at the highest levels of football and NFL, MVP. I mean, you don't achieve that by not putting in the work on things that help, I guess, invest into that, like workout and eating and studying the playbook. You have to do that to get to that end goal. And so if the end goal is for, you know, someone to in a positive manner, you can't watch and listen to everything that's out there, because it's not going to lead you down the path you want to go.
I call it guarding your gift.
Right.
You know,
Wow.
everybody's been gifted with something, and that's usually the direction that you want to go in. And usually find your calling. Hey, I want to be this or I want to be that. You know, a lot of people want to eventually become a good husband, a good father. A lot of women want to become great mothers. And so, like, sometimes to even get there, you got to guard even that dream.
Right.
And so
right.
sometimes me simply not listening to some music is because I'm guarding the gift of what I want to become.
Right.
And I know I can't get there filling my head with some of the things.
Because it helps, it shapes perspective.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you're trying to keep a certain mindset and you let these negative influences in, it starts to affect the way you see things, and it also will affect what you think you can actually achieve. I mean, you know, we talk about all the time, in order to get to a certain level, sometimes you have to be around people who are already on that level, who have been there.
That's right. You know, eagles hang with eagles. You know what I mean? And chicken heads hang with chicken heads. I'll explain it to some of y'all when y'all get a little bit older. But at the end of the day, like, we got to decide, like, hey, am I going to guard my future? That's my heart right now, my mind right now, my ears, the things I listen to right now, the places I go. I've got to be willing to guard that because my future is that important.
Wow.
And I just think if you make that stance, like, hey, my relationship with the Lord down the road, it's that important. So I got to guard it now so I can at least get there. And so it is with family, friends that I have. I've got to guard it now so I can get down the road.
Wow, you're listening to Finish the Game with Sean Alexander. I'm Claude Jennings. We're talking about guarding your heart, guarding your mind, watching out for those messages that are out there. It all started from an Instagram question from a listener. Sean, it's so interesting because sometimes in an effort to do that, we can come with a whole list of do's and don'ts. Like, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, don't listen to this. Yeah, and that can be dangerous, but it sounds like what you're saying is the focus should be more so on where I'm trying to go. Like, don't focus so much on lists of don'ts, like, but if you're focused on where you're trying to get to, that will help shape everything else. Because if I'm so focused on getting to this end, then I already know what I should and shouldn't listen to, where I should. Because sometimes, I mean, it's not a bad idea if your friends are going out to the movies and it's Friday night and they're like, hey, we're going to the movies. You're not wrong for going, but if you've been slacking all week on achieving certain goals and doing certain things with work or spending time with your family, you don't need to go out with them Friday. You need to stay home.
I think that once again, it always goes back to, where do you want to go? Like, you know, like the whole thing of finish the game is, do we want to finish the game of life? Well, you know, if it was football, you ain't going to play the game without no cleats on. You know what I mean? You got to strap on the pads if you're going to go play the game. And at the end of the day, you know, there's things that stop you from getting down the road. And I just think that music is one of those things. It could be very positive for you, but it could be very damaging. But you said it right from the beginning. We don't want to make anything in life and make it simply do's or don'ts. You know what I mean? Because usually if you're just focused on the don'ts, then your plan pretty much would be to sit still in a room, close the door, don't turn the lights on too bright, but don't make it too dark, because you don't want to be weird for being too dark, but you want it to be too bright for the lights. Well, no, like, let's not live life on don't do's. Let's live life on do's. And so you know, as the question was asked, it's like, well, what do you think about music? I'm like, well, I'm going to focus on the music that's going to make me go be great.
Right.
Go be a great husband, go be a great father, go be a great man of God, go be a great teammate.
Because everything you focus on, not just music, but everything you focus on helps you to be better. I mean, I'm pretty sure you have that attitude about everything and not just music. Music is just part of like everything I focus on helps me get better. So, of course, the music that I listen to helps me be better.
You know, one of the times I went and spoke, I told them, I said, every level, high school, college, or pros, it took a week before I'm studying all the records that them places had. So when I high school, I wanted to know all the high school records at Boone County High School. Shout out Rebels. All the people in Kentucky. I wanted all the Kentucky records, and I looked at all the national records. I was like, I got to go get them. You know. And the same way it was with Alabama, I was looking for what was the best game. You know, I know Saran Stacey had the most touchdowns. I think Bobby Humphrey had the greatest season. And I was like, okay, I gotta go eat all that up. You know? And so my focus has always been, well, what does greatness look like?
Wow.
And then what do I need to go do to go get there?
Yeah.
And so for me, like, you know, like everybody asked me about my faith, I say, well, gosh, you know, my faith started with me seeing some uncles and what their life was turning out to, and then me seeing some uncles and seeing what their life was turned into. It was an easy choice for me.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was an easy choice. I was like, ooh, I don't want that heartache. I don't want that confusion. Ooh, I want that family. I want that life. Easy choice for me. And so I always look at life really simple. Where do I want to go? What game am I going to play? And because I know if I play it, I'm going to finish it.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right,
And so that's my personality. I'm going to go play the game, and it's going to be really smile, really subtle. And you're going to be like, this dude's going hard. Yeah, that's kind of my personality. So I tell everybody, let's not focus on what not to do, but let's focus on what we want to be, where we want, how we're going to get there, and then we go do it.
Wow.
And you'll be amazed that music is just one of those many categories that fit into that. This is Sean Alexander with Claude Jennings. You're listening to Finish the Game. I want to get on a topic of fatherhood. I haven't wrote the book yet, but the words are on paper. The script is out, but you know, I'm going to write a story about the types of fathers.
Okay.
And you know, us talking about music and influence and all that, a father's main role is to create the standard and direction for the house, for the wife, for the kids, for the whole house, everybody that's a part of it. This is what a father does. He creates the standard and the direction. And we have, because of fatherlessness, we've actually created fathers that we don't know, you know. And so if we look at some fathers, there's some fathers that are they're seasonal. They come in your life. It could be that teacher that was with you through your grades, or it could be that neighbor that was there, that you know, good old Mr. Smith that was always around. And some are topical. It could be that coach that was there. It could be this mentor. It could be that guy that was the number one fan that always came around you and brought you whatever.
Right.
But then there's some fathers that are non-relational, and this is the most dangerous father, because through their non-relation, they teach you things. And so I've got friends that didn't know their dads, and they would look up and they would see how their dad lived and how they treated their moms, and they just, you know, and they thought, okay, well, that's what a man looks like. That's the direction I'm going to go.
Wow.
That's the standard I'm going to have. I'm going to go be that guy too. And then you got also the ones that their dads didn't give them any love, so they don't give any love to anybody else.
Right.
Well, the other most dangerous form of non-relational father is really the musician. It's the entertainer. You know, you don't know them, they don't know you, but you can actually create a standard for your life and a direction for where you want to go, all off of entertainment.
Wow.
And I just think of there's been some entertaining things that I would listen to, and I'd be like, wow, this was really strong. This is going to teach me to go be a man and stand up and put my head up, throw my shoulders back, you know, sometimes put my nose to the ground and go to work.
Right.
You know what? These are some unrelational fathers that put a standard and a direction in my life. But that same positive thing could easily go the other way. Okay, I'm going to treat every girl like this. Ain't no one going to be able to tell me something. I'm going to be unteachable and untrainable.
Right. Okay.
See, these unrelational fathers, you got to guard your own self, because here's what's really cool about real life. In the spiritual realm, the Bible's an upside down kingdom. Whatever you think is one way is upside down in the Bible.
Right.
And so we can't help who our earthly fathers are. They birthed us. But in the spiritual realm, we actually pick them. So the sons pick their fathers. And so you don't even think about it, but you're picking who's putting a standard, who's going to be the standard setter and the direction given for your life. And so you look up and you're like, oh man, well, why do I think like this when a leader walks in the room? Why do I think like this when other men walk in the room? Why do I think like this when I see a good looking girl walking by? Somebody gave you that standard and said that this is what's right.
Wow.
And somebody gave you that direction, said this is where you go and this is how you do it. And I'm just challenging all you all. I love the fact that we have a lot of businessmen and great men, but we have a ton of young college, high school, and fresh out of college guys and girls that are listening to the show. And I just want to say, hey, you're picking who's fathering you. You're picking who's giving that standard or direction for your life. Make sure that that's what you really want to become, because you think you just listen to a song and you don't know that you're putting in you the direction for your life.
Right. And sometimes we look at certain things and think that it's a small thing. Like, it's just a small thing. But it's really not. I mean, when you can bypass all the small things and just shrug them off as small things, but no one makes a great decision about a big thing if you're not used to making big decisions.
That's
and you
right.
do that by making great decisions with things that seem to be small. That thing says, this may not help me get to, where I'm trying to get to, so I'm not going to listen to this, or I'm not going to watch that. And then when you consistently are used to making that type of decision where you're thinking things through, where you're thinking about the future, I forget the name of the book, Stephen Covey, I believe one of his principles was begin with the end in mind. And so when you're starting to make decisions now based on the end that you're trying to get to, when you're faced with bigger decisions, it's easier to make a good decision because you're used to making good decisions. We were talking about the Bible. I mean, when you read the account of Daniel about to be thrown in the lion's den, he didn't just all of a sudden come up with the fortitude to say, no, I'm not going to,
Right. Like, I'll be strong today.
Right, yeah. He had a reputation of being strong, and so it was easier when he was faced with that to remain strong because he was making those good decisions. We don't cut good decisions on like a light switch. You know what I mean? That's something you practice. That's something that you build yourself up for.
It's in you. You know what I mean? It's they asked, how do you get to play at Carnegie Hall? Practice. Yeah. It's every day. There's something in you you're dropping the pebbles in the bucket. And by the time you look up, that bucket's heavy.
You don't decide that I want to play football, and then all of a sudden you just go to Alabama. Hey, I want to play football. And say, okay, sure. Here you go. Here's your uniform. That doesn't happen.
No, you can't even think about. You can't even think about walking on that campus talking about you want to give it a shot. There. It don't happen there. You know what I mean? And even sadder is that people do that and they think they can get to the NFL. Right. I'm like, hold on a second. You just think you're just going to just give it a twirl? No, you put the work in. You know what I mean? You already decide like, hey, I'm going to start dropping the pebbles in this bucket to go make myself weighty enough to go be great. Wow. You got to give yourself a chance.
That's right. No, that's huge. And I like that statement. Drop stones in the bucket to make yourself weighty enough to be great. Yeah. Invest in yourself enough to give you the substance. Yes. That will then help you become great in whatever it is you're doing.
And I think that's the same way with sports. I think that's the way with work. I tell my kids all the time, we're homeschooling, but I told them, y'all gonna have perfect attendance because y'all can't get out of it. But I had perfect attendance, kindergarten all the way through 12th grade. I just wanted to be there. I said I had to put myself in position that even if I'm not smart enough, I might catch it by just being there. Wow. And so it was always about positioning myself to be great. I'm the same way with my faith. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make some mistakes. I'm going to struggle with some things. I'm going to wrestle with my faith about some things. But you know what? I'm going to give myself a shot every day. Right. I'm going to wake up and pray, and I'm going to get myself around some other believers that are going to challenge me or inspire me to keep on going. I'm going to keep on putting some pebbles in the bucket to add some weight to my game. You know? And I think if you do that, you give yourself a chance. I think today's society, it's really sad for a lot of young people because you got goals, but you don't give yourself a chance to even accomplish them. You know what I mean? And I think I think that's one of the greatest crimes for our country is that we got people wanting to be great that don't even have a chance to get out there and have a shot to even be close to great.
You're listening to Finish the Game with Sean Alexander. I'm Claude Jennings. We're talking some heavy stuff here, giving yourself a chance to be great so you can finish the game.
That's what it's all about, man. I tell you, Claude, I've been traveling a lot, but these last couple weekends or weeks, I mean, it's almost been every day this month, every weekend this month, like. But I tell you, there was some really good stuff that just really blessed my heart. There was a family who had a son. I went to it was called the PKU event, and it was a fundraiser. And there was a man and a wife whose son was born. When you have a baby and they prick the heel, we now had 8 heels pricked, but when they prick the heel to say okay, and they go test them, and there's a disease that actually some babies have. It's so rare, but it does happen where you actually can't digest protein. That's crazy. And so this family was raising money to get research to study, like, how do we cure this? And like, these kids grow up and they pretty much got to drink hot oil and hot oil and coconut water and mixed together. And that's going to be like, they got to drink almost a liter of it a day. And because it mixes with the protein to be able to dilute it, to kick it out so their body can maintain. And you see these kids, some of them have died by just eating regular food. I mean, y'all just want to know a little bit about protein. That's any kind of burger, any kind of pizza, any kind of ice cream, any kind of meat, anything that's heavy. I mean, these kids they're hungry because anything that would be heavy is pretty much got too much protein in it where their bodies can't handle it, and their bodies will, some people have died, some people have walked with limps. And I say all that to say, don't ever take your life for granted. Mm-hmm. I mean, you go hug your mom, your dad, your brothers, your teammates, your girlfriends, your sister girl, go hug them and be thankful about what you got, because it could always be worse. And then also I want to tell that family, Jerry, man, you keep loving on Hudson, and I think it's amazing what you will do, because it's so rare that they don't even have a lot of people go research it, but you are being a dad, being a great father, and you're saying, I'm going to go love my kid and go get my whole family and all of our friends wrapped around finding a cure for something that's worthy. And I think that's what fatherhood's about. I think that sometimes when the curveball comes, you don't run away from it. You step in and you try to knock out the park. And that's
the thing, because curveballs are going to come. Things that you don't expect are going to happen.
That's right.
Are you going to run? Or are you going to say, hey, we're going to work through this? And I don't have to have all the answers, but I do know one thing. We're going to work towards it.
That's right. And then what I love is, Lil Hudson, he has a twin sister who's perfectly fine. And so it jumped in twins. And I've never heard of that before. And so, but but at the end of the day, I love fathers not being scared to go be leaders and taking whatever's going on and going and doing it. And so all you college men, all you young 20-year-olds, go man up. You know what I mean? Start putting the pebbles in the bucket. You know what I mean? Stop taking the easy way. All you beautiful, wonderful little ladies, you got great men coming, because they probably listen to Finish the Game. All right, so Claude, I guess we're out of time, bro. This is a great show. I tell everybody that's listening, y'all keep on listening, and let's keep on having fun.
And spread the word. Spread the word. Send the links around. SeanAlexander.com. That's the website. Check out all the shows.
Yeah, you know what? We're so thankful for you guys having it, and I want you all to finish the game.